Good Friday evening, September 27th, and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Here are a few of the stories we have coming up for you tonight. Quincy police say they were able to quickly find a suspect while investigating the armed robbery of a Central Avenue gas station this morning. The Grant County PUD is reminding residents to trim or remove trees that pose a danger to power lines because otherwise the PUD will. Nice early fall weather is expected tomorrow with windy conditions on Sunday. All the details straight ahead in your full local weather forecast. The Wenatchee City Council voted down a measure Thursday that would have allowed a new digital billboard to spring up along North Miller Street. The ordinance would have weakened a 5-year-old city law that's phasing out all billboards in the city except some on state highway routes by 2030. The digital billboard proposal was part of a settlement with Outfront Media, one of the largest billboard companies, which appealed Wenatchee's law to the Growth Management Board. Outfront and the city will now go back to mediation over the matter. In their hearing Thursday, City Council members were unanimous in wanting to preserve Wenatchee's no billboards ordinance.
We knew that there could be some pushback. We knew that the signs along the state highway route were going to be treated differently because of federal law, but we felt we had the legal right to do what we did. And I want to stand behind that legal right to do what we did.
The number one comment I hear is that people want the beautification of our streets. Billboards don't beautify the streets. I apologize, but that's the way I feel.
I do not want to see any more billboards being built in our city. So that's how I feel.
To beautify the city, honestly, ever since I was young, I don't know why we have billboards here in Wenatchee. I'm going to say no on this.
Chelan County Sheriff's deputies who patrol the county's waterways got a special recognition on Thursday. They were in Bellingham to receive their certification as the state's 2024 Marine Law Enforcement Program of the Year. The award from Washington State Parks, which oversees boating safety programs, recognized the work that went into supporting firefighters on the remote Pioneer Fire that has burned 39,000 acres along Lake Chelan. Marine deputies help carry supplies and personnel and evacuate hikers, even as they dealt with repeated engine and equipment failures in their aging boat fleet. The sheriff's office has asked for a $400,000 replacement for one boat in the 2025 budget and money to repair others. The award follows recognition last year for Marine Deputy Garrett Churchill, who was named Marine Law Enforcement Officer of the Year at the same event in 2023. Quincy police say they were able to quickly find a suspect while investigating the armed robbery of a Central Avenue gas station this morning. Around 7:15, a man allegedly entered the Chevron gas station with a knife and demanded money from the register. He then fled with the cash, heading south on Central Avenue. 29-year-old Richard Balderas Mondragon of Quincy was identified as the suspect. He's now held in the Grant County Jail facing possible charges, including first-degree robbery. North Central Washington Equity Alliance, a local nonprofit that promotes community diversity while establishing social policies, is seeking a new executive director to help carry out the organization's mission. The previous executive director, Oscar Lecone Escibio, joined the nonprofit in 2022 but stepped down from the role in May to become the director of operations at Pinnacles Prep, a local charter school where he had previously served as a board member. Now the organization is seeking a new bilingual leader with experience in nonprofit work. Interested candidates are encouraged to apply through the organization's website. When we come back, another lawsuit against Washington's restrictions on assault weapons has failed to advance, and a wilderness trail is on the mend in the Entiat River Valley 9 years after a devastating wildfire. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Enjoy the sounds of summer from your very own pool and spa. Blue Lagoon is now scheduling pool installations for this summer. Call today to schedule a free consultation for a custom San Juan fiberglass pool. And let the experts at Blue Lagoon handle the construction, installation, and regular maintenance. Turn your boring backyard into vacation paradise this summer with industry-leading San Juan pool. No need to go off the deep end. Relax knowing you're in great hands with Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa.
There's no place like home, because home is where we're totally comfortable. It's where we can be ourselves and let our guards down. It's where we make memories, and we're always imagining new ways to keep it totally comfortable. Carrier, total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air.
Public notice! With summer ending, there's never a better time than now to get your new or used RV at Click It RV. New RVs for $199 over invoice, and used RVs priced below Blue Book. Top brands like Grand Design, Winnebago, Rockwood, and more. Priced at deals you'll never see again. No payments until 2025 and low first time ever interest rates for the summer end liquidation sale. Nobody beats a Click It RV deal.
I'm Richard Sherman, and we guarantee it.
Trades welcome. Don't miss this liquidation event going on now at a Click It RV store near you. Click It RV.
Have you ever played that game, What Would You Rather? Where you give two options to see what your friend would choose? Well, let's try it. What would you rather? Would you rather have a telemarketer from a foreign call center named David, or a local North Central Washington agent who has been helping folks for over 20 years on Medicare and has 5 offices to serve you, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. So, what would you rather? Now give us a call at Springwater Insurance. Our phone number, 509-888-2600.
Another lawsuit against Washington's restrictions on assault weapons has failed to advance. In U.S. District Court in Richland yesterday, Attorney General Bob Ferguson's office defended House Bill 1240, which prohibits manufacture and sale of semi-automatic rifles like the AR-15. The plaintiffs, including the National Shooting Sports Foundation, had asked for a preliminary injunction putting the implementation of the law on hold. But U.S. District Judge Mary Dimke ruled that the limitations put in place last year should remain while legal challenges continue. It's the 4th time a court has ruled to leave the ban in place. The Grant County PUD is reminding residents to trim or remove trees that pose a danger to power lines because otherwise the PUD will. One of the PUD's leading causes for power outages is tree limbs that are blown into power lines. The PUD retains the legal right to trim trees that pose a risk to power lines and are not required to give property owners prior notice before doing so. However, the PUD may remove trees entirely that pose a safety risk. To spare the PUD from taking action itself, customers are asked to remove trees that grow into power lines and replace them with smaller tree species while always ensuring at least 20 feet of horizontal distance. Anyone with questions or concerns about trees near power lines is encouraged to contact their public utility district. When they aren't busy with local emergencies, fire crews from around north central Washington have joined Washington incident teams to respond to fires in other states. Earlier this week, we told you about Chelan Fire and Rescue members working on the massive line fire in California. Wenatchee Valley Fire Department teammates have also been deployed since September 12th on that fire in San Bernardino County, which has consumed more than 39,000 acres. It's approaching full containment, and local crews expect to rotate home soon with Washington Task Force Number 4. A wilderness trail is on the mend in the Anaat River Valley 9 years after a devastating wildfire. U.S. Forest Service crews spent much of the summer restoring the Anaat River Trail, which passes through the Glacier Peak Wilderness. Workers removed hundreds of downed trees to reopen access to the historic route. Similar work was done on the Pomus Creek Trail, which also suffered from fire damage. The Wolverine Fire burned 39,000 acres in 2015, leaving trails damaged or unrecognizable. Coming up next, the 130 spots for this year's Huckleberry Camp filled up in 18 minutes. In tonight's feature story, we'll tell you more about the popular camp now in its third year. Beautiful weather on tap tomorrow, wind on Sunday, and then seasonal weather conditions next week. I'll have all the details coming up in your full local weather forecast. That and much more still to come tonight. Please stay with us.
Hi, I'm Mike Steele, and I've been honored to serve you as our state representative for District 12 for the last 8 years. With experience in several leadership roles in civic organizations, as well as being a lifelong resident, I've championed projects that have made a difference in our community. I plan to continue the progress we've made together.
Re-elect Mike Steele, your voice in Olympia. Together we can achieve more. Visit votemikesteele.com. Paid for by the citizens to elect Mike Steele.
Lifeline Ambulance has partnered with Wenatchee Valley Tech to provide EMT certification training within the high school. This opens up career opportunities in EMS, fire, and other medical fields, and gives these students a leg up when entering the workforce.
Students at Wenatchee Valley Tech, through our partnership with Lifeline Ambulance, can now earn their National Registry EMT certification.
The Lake Chelan Chamber of Commerce presents Wonders of Wooden Avenue.
Welcome to the newest and funnest fashion boutique on Wooden, featuring mountain chic clothing and men's footwear from UGG, Brixton, Sorel, and Free People. Walk on into the Tiffany Blue Building on the second block of Wooden and check it out.
It is nearly impossible to describe what you'll find in Lush Life. It's an eclectic collection of items from around the world. See it for yourself at the corner of Wooden and Emerson.
Wonders of Wooden Avenue, North Central Washington's premier shopping district.
We in Northeast Washington are proud of our small town heritage, but Olympia's one-size-fits-all policies have made life here more difficult. I'm former Mayor Suing Moody, and for the past 13 years, I fought for the needs of the people of Twisp in the face of disaster. Now, I'm looking to bring my record of strong leadership to Olympia as your state representative, to preserve the way of life our families have enjoyed here for generations. I'm Suing Moody, and I'm asking for your vote, because we shouldn't have to give up anything to live here, and we won't.
The 130 spot for this year's Huckleberry Camp filled up in 18 minutes. The third annual camp, put together by the Indigenous Roots and Reparations Foundation, was held earlier this month at the YMCA Lake Wenatchee Camp. The participants, who ranged in age from infancy to 70 years old, gathered to make beaded earrings, drums, basket weaving, and canning huckleberries. In tonight's feature story, NCWLIFE News spoke with IRF co-chair and interim executive director to learn about the sense of community the camp creates.
Huckleberry Camp was really a vision that I had starting this organization to create a community space for all Indigenous peoples to gather. I grew up here in Wenatchee with not a lot of acknowledgement or opportunities to learn cultural things, and so once IRF was formed, our main vision is land back, but we wanted to start creating programs that align with our mission in order to bring people back to our homelands that haven't been here for a long time or have never been here, because Wenatchee, our Pasquosa tribe, is a non-treaty tribe, and so we're non-federally recognized, meaning that we're under the governance of Colville. And so a lot of our relatives were pushed out from this area, either to the Colville Reservation or the Yakima Reservation, or even further. And so we're kind of displaced. And this vision for starting like this cool outdoor kind of culture camp kind of came about our first year. We opened it up to tribal members and descendants. So we want to provide a safe space for them at no cost. So we want to reduce all barriers, because there shouldn't be barriers to learn your culture. And so we fundraise, we write grants to get funding for the event so that we can provide meals. We have snacks, the crafts are no cost. We pay honorariums to our teachers for crafting supplies. We give out gas cards for people that are traveling, because we truly don't want it to be a burden. Like, again, it shouldn't be that way for people to want to learn our culture and have that connection. It's important to acknowledge too that many of the participants don't have that connection, even if they've grown up on reservations or off reservations. So there's a lot of things that have kind of, like as my uncle explains, is that we have a sacred circle, and throughout time, the circle's been broken with colonization, residential schools, and during that time, we've lost our languages, our culture, and that connection.
So this was my second year attending. I wasn't able to attend the first year, and last year was a pretty magical experience for me. I had recently lost my brothers within the last couple of years, so dealing with like a lot of grief and working through a lot of that kind of on my own, and not having grown up in my culture, being able to attend Huckleberry Camp last year was, it was pretty amazing. I cried on the way home because having that sense of community is something that I had not experienced before. And especially not being from this area, my tribe is not from this area, it has been hard to find people to connect with, and it was one of the most welcoming environments that I've ever been in.
Time now for a check of your North Central Washington weather forecast. Hope you had a great Friday and hope your work week was a good one as well. Another beautiful day out there today with all kinds of blue sky. This is outside our weather window from this afternoon, looking down at the Wenatchee Valley. It's from our Wenatchee Heights Sky-Fi Tower camera, and just a little bit of a breeze out there today, but temperatures very, very nice. And as we move into Saturday, it looks good, but by the time we get into the end of the weekend on Sunday, we are going to see plenty of wind in the afternoon and evening. These are peak gusts, 25 to 30 miles an hour here in the Wenatchee area. Moses Lake also 25 to 30, and then a little bit less for you folks up in Omak, with wind gusts possible on Sunday between 20 and 25 miles an hour. We'll talk why we're seeing those winds coming up in a bit. Today's high temperature unofficially beautiful, 76 degrees, 72 is our normal high for this time of year. 88 our record set in 1963. 55 this morning, 49 our normal low, and our record low 32, and that was set in 1972. Sunrise 6:55, and the sun sets tonight at 6:47. Getting you in now to the all-important weekend, and your Saturday temperatures tomorrow is going to be fantastic out there weather-wise. 81 in Moses Lake and Ephrata, 80 the high temperature in Quincy. We're not quite, I don't think, going to get to 80 in Wenatchee or Eniat and Chelan, but we're going to be awfully close at around 78 degrees. 77 for Kashmir, and 76, beautiful day to head up to the Autumn Leaf Festival happening in Leavenworth this weekend. Tonight, mostly clear skies, a bit of a ridge of high pressure up and over the Pacific Northwest. It will be cool with those clear skies, though, with lows tonight right around 50 degrees. For your weekend on Saturday, partly cloudy skies. Here's an area of low pressure. It's going to drag a weak cold front through the northern part of the state on Saturday. Not really going to cool us off much. In fact, we're going to warm up into the upper 70s for Saturday. On Sunday, this is where the wind comes in. Low pressure to the east, high pressure to the west, and we're kind of scrunched in the middle, and we're going to see winds, as we mentioned, possibly up to 30 miles an hour. Much cooler, too. High temperatures Sunday only in the upper 60s, so about a 10-degree cool down from Saturday to Sunday. Monday, sunny skies, back to that seasonal weather. We're talking highs in the upper 60s, and by next week, that will be pretty close to our normal high. And then our first day of October on Tuesday, it's going to be a nice one. Mostly sunny skies and warmer. We're going to warm up into the low 70s as we get into Tuesday. By midweek then next week, mostly sunny skies, high pressure in control of our weather. Maybe a little bit breezy in the afternoon on Wednesday. High temperatures still nice, right around that 70-degree mark. And then by the end of our forecast and into the end of next week for Thursday, sunny skies before this monster storm moves in late in the week next week. Going to be nice for Thursday, seasonal, with high temperatures in the upper 60s. All right, your 7-day forecast now. 55 overnight tonight. A mixed bag this weekend. Partly cloudy, 78 on Saturday. It's going to be beautiful for Saturday. And even though we're going to see a lot of sunshine Sunday, we're going to cool down 11 degrees and see a lot of wind to end our weekend. And then just seasonal weather. Monday right through Thursday, mostly sunny to sunny skies, upper 60s to lower 70s. In fact, by Thursday, high temperature 68 degrees. And that's a look at your North Central Washington weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Dan Kuntz and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Thank you for trusting Abby's Legendary Pizza for 60 years. Your hard-earned money supports hundreds of youth working at our parlors, dozens and dozens of nonprofits and school teams throughout the area. At Abby's, doing good in the neighborhood has never tasted so delicious. Can you smell it? It's not arugula and pear. It's bacon, and cheddar. Yep, everybody's favorite pizza is back on sale this month at Abby's, loaded with 2 kinds of bacon and real cheddar cheese. Enjoy Abby's September special at a very special price.
Well, as you know by now, no playoffs for the second straight year for the Seattle Mariners. They were eliminated without even playing after the Royals and the Tigers won yesterday. That's it. The Mariners could have tied them, but they don't have any of the tiebreakers. So basically, it's now playing for pride. As the Athletics are in town tonight, we still don't know who the Mariners are going to pitch. They haven't told anybody. First pitch tonight at 7:10 on Root Sports. Here's what we do know about the playoffs. As it stands today, clinching first-round byes, and they get home field advantage in the League Division Series. That'll be the Yankees, the Guardians, the Phillies, and the Dodgers. Brewers and Astros are in, but they'll have to play in the first round. Also, the Orioles and the Padres have clinched playoff. Who they play and when, we don't know yet. In playoff position right now, the Royals, the Tigers, the Mets, and the D-backs, if they went out, they're in. But believe it or not, the Braves and the Twins still have a chance. College football schedule. Huskies are playing right now against Rutgers, but don't change the channel. We need the ratings. Huskies are in New Jersey for their first Big Ten road trip. That's on right now on Fox. Washington State will be at Boise State tomorrow night on FS1. Eastern Washington welcomes Montana to town, 5 o'clock on ESPN. Plus, no TV that I could find for Central Washington University as they host Western New Mexico. Two games were played last night in the smaller schools. Kashmir went down to Wahluke and Wahlooked all over them. The final there was 45-0. And Welpinit knocked off Soap Lake yesterday. The final in prep football was 46-12. Prep volleyball scoreboard. Wenatchee keeps right on rolling, number 1 in the RPI. They swept Eisenhower away in a big way, 25-9, 25-8, 25-7. Much closer between Eastmont and West Valley, but the Rams got the better of the Wildcats, 25-21, 25-20, and 25-14. Davis swept Sunnyside. More volleyball action in the CWAC. Ellensburg took care of Quincy in 3 straight sets. Same deal with Grandview and Toppenish. Sela and East Valley went to 5, but Sela pulled it off. Same deal. Prosser and Ephrata went to 5, but Prosser pulled it off. Smaller schools in prep volleyball scoreboard. Look at that. Sweeps across the board. Chelan, Brewster, Manson, Cashmere, Liberty Bell, Okanagan, Orville, and Soap Lake all won in volleyball last night, and they did so quite easily. And now to the pitch. It was a non-league game between Moses Lake and Ephrata. When they played non-league games, they don't do overtime because why risk it, right? So the Tigers and the Mavericks tied at 2 in the pitch yesterday. Cashmere took care of Keona Benton 7-1. Quincy over Cascade on the pitch. It was Ellensburg beating East Valley. Othello over Connell. Omak beating Pateros. They doubled them up. It was Okanagan 8, Manson 2, and yes, Tenaska beat Orville in girls soccer 12-0. You get these kind of scores. Prep football, we will be at Wildcat Stadium tonight. The Sunnyside Grizzlies and the Eastmont Wildcats will take to the air at about 6:45, 7 o'clock kickoff with Grant Olson and Brandon Harley on the call. Our cameras will be there, and better yet, our camera operators will be there as well. Wenatchee heads east. They'll take on Moses Lake, 7 o'clock kickoff there. West Valley welcomes Davis to town, but they live in the same town. 7 o'clock. 1 hour earlier for Eisenhower, a non-leaguer in Big 9 play against Lake City. To the CWAC we go. Quincy will host Wapato at 7 o'clock. Ephrata travels to East Valley. They'll kick off at 7. In fact, they're all 7 o'clock kickoffs in the CWAC tonight. That includes Ellensburg at Toppenish, Othello at Sela, and Prosser at Grandview. For the smaller schools, Okanagan is number 1 in the RPI in their division. They'll try and keep that going. 6 o'clock kickoff against Riverview. 7 o'clock tonight, Chelan welcomes Liberty Bell. Cascade welcomes Manson. It is Clarkston hosting Omak. That's a long bus ride. Orville at Bridgeport, Tenaska to Brewster, Pateros at Waterville, Mansfield. 1 game tomorrow. Antioch will travel to Moses Lake Christian. They'll kick it off tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. To the pitch we go. If you want to head over to Eastmont and watch the girls play, you can, because they'll take on West Valley at 1 o'clock. Wenatchee travels to Sunnyside at 1 o'clock, try to remain unbeaten in league play. Davis is at Sunnyside on the pitch at 1 o'clock. For the smaller schools, 11 a.m. That's awfully early to play soccer. I don't care who you are. Tenaska to Cascade, Mount Vernon Christian at Okanagan, Lake Roosevelt at Warden, Orville at Manson, and Bridgeport at Pateros at 11 a.m., 12 noon. A much easier start time. Quincy will welcome Ellensburg, Othello at Ephrata, and Highland at Brewster in prep soccer. We will see you at the football game tonight. And those are just some of the games that people are playing.
And that will do it for our newscast tonight. For more news from around North Central Washington, you can find us at NCWLIFE.com, on our social media channels, or on our mobile app for iPhone and Android. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. Email us at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks so much for being with us, and have a great weekend.
Want to stay up to date on the latest news in the area? Tired of paying for your news? Download the NCWLIFE app now. No subscriptions necessary. Get news, weather, sports, and more live as it happens. Available for iPhone and Android in the App Store. Local news at your fingertips. Don't miss the stories that matter to you. Stay connected. Download the NCWLIFE app now.